What's going on, everybody? Today I'll be going over 9 useful bits of information you can get
from your Toyota Tacoma manual.
Now there are literally dozens of great pieces of information in here. Obviously you should read it cover to cover if you have not already. But today I'll just be going over 9 things I learned from the first 100 pages that I didn't know before. So let's get started. Alright guys, we will be going through these in chronological order or in order of appearance in the manual, and as I go through them I will put little page indicators right down here in the corner so you can see where to exactly find this information. And as we go through all this stuff, if I present something that you did not know before about your Tacoma, go ahead and give the video a like. Do it! Number 1, approximately 5 hours after the engine is turned off, you may hear sound coming from under the vehicle for several minutes. This is the sound of a fuel evaporation leakage check, and it does not indicate a malfunction. Now, I've never happened to be out here messing with my truck 5 hours after I've turned it off, so I've never noticed this sound before. Curious to see if you guys have, though. Number 2, the installation of a mobile two-way radio system in your vehicle could affect electronic systems. Now, that's not what I'm doing here. This is something else I'll go over in a later video. But if you do install a two-way radio system, it could affect your systems, including cruise control, anti-lock brakes, SRS airbag, seatbelt pre-tensioner, and the multi-port fuel injection system. So if you do plan on installing a two-way radio, be warned. Next on the list, if your truck is equipped with the rear backup camera right here on the handle, and if you do need to remove the tailgate for any reason, of course, it is plugged in right here. There are a few plugs on the inside of this and that go back there. Toyota gives you actually waterproof connections for both sides of the plug, so if the tailgate's off, you don't have to worry about damaging that system. These pieces, of course, should have come with your truck when you purchased it. I admit I have these with mine, obviously. I never opened this bag. I never read this to see what they did, but haven't needed them because I've never actually taken my tailgate completely off. But nice that Toyota does include these pieces just in case. Moving along with number 4, if my counting serves me correctly. Now, if you cannot get your seatbelt plugged in safely and securely, say if you're
with a hint of chubby,
or maybe if you are a female and are pregnant, Toyota does offer a free seatbelt extender that literally plugs into the male end of the seatbelt and the female, and it looks like from the picture in the Toyota manual about 10 to 12 inches long, I'd guess. This is free of charge. I'm not sure if this is something you can always request. It doesn't really give any kind of like statute of limitations in the manual, but nice to know that Toyota offers that. And for number 5, since we are right here with the seat, I know the Tacoma seats, these are obviously not Tacoma seats in my truck, but the factory Tacoma seats, sort of uncomfortable on longer drives, so be warned if you are using a cushion on the bottom. Having a cushion under you while you're driving for a little comfort can mess with the weight sensors under here and cause both the seatbelt pre-tensioner and your airbag sensor in here to malfunction. So that could be a potentially fatal mistake. It didn't say anything about having a cushion back here like supporting your lower back, but just be wary. Putting anything underneath where your booty touches the seat could mess with those systems. The next item on this list was brought to my buddy here on YouTube, Sanchez1, which actually prompted me to look into the manual, and it is stated, I had no idea the steering wheel, I knew it tilted, went up and down, but I had no idea this wheel actually telescoped a little bit too. That's a new one on me. Had no idea. I had the truck since August of 2014, and I literally just learned that last week. Now, it is just a few inches of movement, but hey, sometimes a few inches can make all the difference in the world. For the next one, Toyota does mention in the manual that if you are driving and have the sliding glass window back here in the rear windshield open while driving, they do not recommend this because this can actually suck in exhaust fumes back there. They do specifically just mention this window, none of the other windows. I guess sort of makes sense, like the reverse valve induction, like air getting pulled in here and your exhaust fumes venting back there. Seems like a little bit of a stretch, I would guess, because the factory exhaust does exit back there near the rear corner of the bed, but hey, it's one of those things they just have to put that legal warning out there. Do any of you drive with your sliding glass window open? And if so, after learning this, are you going to change your dirty ways?
Me, I'm setting my ways.
Now personally, I think I've only actually opened this window once because it's a pain. If it was a power window, I'm sure I'd use it all the time, but it doesn't really bother me just because it's so much of a pain to use. And getting close to the end here with number 8, Toyota recommends keeping a distance of at least 10 inches between the front of your airbag and your sternum for safety reasons, since that is the danger zone, especially obviously the closer you get to the airbag. They specifically say the first 2 to 3 inches you can really hurt yourself, so give yourself at least 10 inches between the airbag and your sternum. Measure it just to check. Plenty of adjustment there with both the seat, if you have like longer legs, and with the, now that I know the wheel actually telescopes, you guys can get that adjusted in. Just make sure you are at least 10 inches from the airbag to be safe. And for the final tip, it does involve the RSCA Off button, which does involve your side curtain airbags. Now, I knew most of this beforehand, but I definitely wanted to include this in this video since this is a very useful tip for any of you guys who actually take your pavement princesses off-road. Toyota does recommend actually the only time you turn off or on this switch, when you turn on the RSCA Off switch, it turns the system off and you'll get an indicator on your dash. So it will deactivate these airbags because if you are off-roading, I'm not sure what the slope is, but if your vehicle tilts side to side, I want to say maybe 30 degrees or more, it will set off these airbags. So if you're wheeling only, having this in the off position to deactivate that system could potentially save you a ton of money if these airbags go off, just for the simple fact that you pass that angled threshold. And just be aware that when that button is engaged and that system is in the off position, the curtain shield airbag and seatbelt pretensioner will not activate in a vehicle rollover. However, the curtain shield airbag will activate in a severe side impact, and the pretensioner will activate in a severe frontal collision. Alright guys, that will do it for this first video going over things I learned from the first 100 pages of the Toyota manual. Now, the Toyota manual is nearly 600 pages long, so there is plenty of more information to go over in the future. And remember, this is just things I learned from the first 100 pages. There might be tons more things you didn't know about the Tacoma, so I definitely encourage you to at least skim through the Tacoma manual. It's not like reading a full book. There's a lot of pictures. Pages go by faster than you think. And remember, if you learned something new in this video, make sure to comment below and give it a big thumbs up. There'll probably be a few more of these videos coming soon, so if you enjoyed it, let me know. And if you didn't enjoy it, well, I'm sorry. As always, thank you so much for supporting the channel by watching this video. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next video.